The 2024 election sent shockwaves through America. It wasn't just about who would occupy the White House. This election ignited a conversation about financial power. It forced us to confront the crushing weight of student debt. And it sparked a movement for change, particularly in the realms of financial education and student loan policies. Across the nation, a consensus emerged. Americans from all walks of life demanded greater financial literacy. They called for relief from the burden of student loans. The election became a referendum on these issues. Politicians, eager to capture the hearts and minds of voters, were forced to respond. This election wasn't just about red versus blue. It was about the haves and the have-nots, the financially secure versus those drowning in debt, and the outcome sent a clear message. Americans crave a financial system that works for everyone, not just the privileged few. The 2024 election was a wake-up call. It exposed the deep flaws in our financial system, but it also offered a glimmer of hope. It showed that change is possible when people raise their voices and demand better. The question now is, will we seize this opportunity to create a more equitable and prosperous future for all? Let's be honest, folks, money talks. And in the world of politics, it screams from the rooftops. The 2024 election was a prime example of how campaign finance can shape policy. Big money poured in from wealthy donors and corporations, eager to influence the outcome. We saw super PACs, fueled by unlimited donations, flood the airwaves with political ads. These shadowy groups, often with opaque names like Americans for a Better Tomorrow, masked the identities of their wealthy benefactors. And let's not forget about the dark money flowing in from undisclosed sources, making it nearly impossible to track who was pulling the strings. This influx of cash wasn't just about winning an election, it was about buying influence. These donors, with their deep pockets, expected something in return for their generosity. They wanted policies that benefited their bottom line, even if it meant leaving everyday Americans behind. This is the dirty little secret of American politics. The influence of money distorts our democracy. It gives an unfair advantage to the wealthy and powerful, and it undermines the will of the people. We need to shine a light on this corrupt system and demand better, because when money talks, democracy suffers. In the wake of the 2024 election, a new wave of legislation swept across the country. This wave was driven by a growing recognition of the critical role that financial literacy plays in the lives of individuals and the health of the economy. States, recognizing the importance of financial literacy, began implementing mandates for financial education. These mandates were not just about adding another subject to the curriculum, they were about preparing students for real-life challenges. These mandates, often incorporated into high school curriculums, aimed to equip young people with the knowledge and skills needed to navigate the complex world of personal finance. From understanding credit scores to learning about interest rates, students were being armed with essential tools for their future. No longer could students graduate without understanding the basics of budgeting, saving, investing, and debt management. These topics, once considered optional or extracurricular, were now front and center in the educational experience. These essential life skills, once overlooked in traditional education systems, were now given the attention they deserve. Teachers received specialized training to effectively deliver this content, ensuring that students could grasp these critical concepts. The message was clear. Financial literacy is not a luxury, it's a necessity. In a world where financial decisions can have long-lasting impacts, being financially literate is as important as being able to read and write. These mandates, while a step in the right direction, were just the beginning. The initial focus was on high school students, but the vision extended far beyond that. Advocates argued for a more comprehensive approach to financial education, one that extended beyond the classroom and into communities. They envisioned a society where financial literacy was a lifelong journey, starting from a young age and continuing into adulthood. They called for increased access to financial counseling services, particularly for low-income families and communities of color. These services would provide personalized guidance, helping individuals make informed financial decisions. The push for financial literacy was about more than just balancing checkbooks. It was about understanding the broader financial system, recognizing predatory practices, and knowing one's rights as a consumer. It was about empowering individuals to take control of their financial futures. By making informed decisions, people could build wealth, avoid debt traps, and achieve their financial goals. It was about breaking the cycle of debt and poverty. Financial literacy provided the knowledge and tools needed to escape these cycles and build a more secure future. And it was about creating a more equitable society where everyone, regardless of background or zip code, has the opportunity to achieve financial well-being. The ultimate goal was to ensure that financial literacy was accessible to all, paving the way for a brighter, more financially secure future for everyone. Section 4. Reshaping the Future, Federal Student Loan Reform in the Spotlight. The 2024 election didn't just spur action at the state level, it ignited a nationwide dialogue about the future of education and the financial burdens that come with it. It also brought the issue of student loan debt to the forefront of the national conversation. News outlets, social media, and public forums buzzed with debates and discussions about the mounting crisis. The newly elected administration, recognizing the crushing burden of student loans on millions of Americans, proposed sweeping reforms to the federal student loan system. These proposals were not just minor adjustments but aimed at overhauling the entire system. These reforms went beyond simply tweaking interest rates or extending repayment periods. They sought to address the root causes of the student debt crisis and provide long-term solutions. They aimed to fundamentally reshape how we finance higher education. The goal was to make college more accessible and affordable for all, regardless of their financial background. Proposals included expanding access to income-driven repayment plans, making college more affordable, and increasing transparency in the lending process. These measures were designed to ease the financial strain on students and their families, and even providing some level of student loan forgiveness. This was seen as a bold move to alleviate the debt burden on graduates and give them a fresh start. The debate over student loan reform was heated and complex. Lawmakers, educators, and the public were deeply divided on the best path forward. Opponents argued that forgiveness would be unfair to those who had already paid off their loans. They believed it would create a moral hazard and encourage irresponsible borrowing. They claimed it would be too costly and would discourage personal responsibility. Critics also raised concerns about the impact on taxpayers and the federal budget. Proponents, on the other hand, argued that the current system was unsustainable and that bold action was needed to address the student debt crisis. They emphasized the long-term benefits of a more educated workforce and the economic boost it could provide. The outcome of this debate would have far-reaching consequences. It would not only affect current and future students but also the broader economy and society as a whole. It would determine the financial futures of millions of Americans. Families across the country were watching closely, hoping for a resolution that would bring relief and opportunity. It would impact the economy as a whole. A reduction in student debt could lead to increased consumer spending, higher homeownership rates, and greater financial stability for many. And it would shape the very fabric of our society. Education is a cornerstone of democracy and equality, and how we fund it reflects our values and priorities. The stakes were high, and the fight for a more just and equitable student loan system was just beginning. The decisions made in the coming months and years would set the course for future generations. Section 5. The Economic Ripple Effect. Untangling the impact of reduced debt and increased savings. Imagine a world where individuals are no longer shackled by crippling student loan debt. The freedom from such financial burdens would not only transform individual lives but also have a profound impact on the broader economy. Imagine a world where families have the financial breathing room to save for their futures. This newfound financial stability would allow parents to invest in their children's education, secure their retirement, and even enjoy a higher quality of life. The potential economic benefits of increased financial literacy and student loan reform are undeniable, but let's break it down. Financial literacy equips individuals with the knowledge to make informed decisions about their money, leading to smarter spending and saving habits. Reduced student loan debt could unleash a wave of consumer spending. When people are not burdened by debt, they are more likely to spend on goods and services, which stimulates economic growth. Graduates, freed from the weight of monthly payments, would have more disposable income to inject back into the economy. They could buy homes, start businesses, and support local enterprises, creating a positive feedback loop of economic activity, and invest in their communities. This investment can take many forms, from supporting local businesses to participating in community development projects, all of which contribute to a thriving local economy. Meanwhile, increased financial literacy would empower individuals to make sound financial decisions. This knowledge can help people avoid common financial pitfalls, such as high-interest debt and poor investment choices. This could lead to higher savings rates, providing a much-needed boost to the economy. When people save more, banks have more capital to lend, which can be used for investments in infrastructure, businesses, and other critical areas. Higher savings rates translate into more capital available for investment, fueling economic growth and job creation. This cycle of saving and investing can lead to a more robust and resilient economy. The impact doesn't stop there. A financially literate population is better equipped to navigate economic downturns and take advantage of opportunities during economic upswings. With less debt and more savings, individuals are better positioned to weather economic storms. They can build emergency funds, reduce their reliance on credit, and maintain financial stability even in challenging times. They're less likely to default on loans, leading to a more stable financial system. A stable financial system benefits everyone, as it reduces the risk of financial crises and promotes steady economic growth. This, in turn, can lead to lower interest rates for everyone, further stimulating economic activity. Lower interest rates make borrowing more affordable, encouraging investments in homes, education, and businesses. The economic case for financial literacy and student loan reform is clear. By addressing these issues, we can create a more dynamic and inclusive economy that benefits all members of society. By empowering individuals to take control of their finances, we can create a more prosperous and equitable society for all. The ripple effects of such empowerment can lead to lasting positive changes in our communities and our economy.